Big old bar is sitting there pretty. We got some stub axles. We'll call them trailer swingaways or whatever, but that's a stub axle if I've ever seen one. So that's a put together one and an exploded view for you. Massive, thick beam there. Bearings, just like a standard wheel bearing. Really good stuff. Top plate, chamfered inner, so that'll match that. I think the best way to go about this, so these end up welded on straight, that'll be about there, is actually to cut that box section to the length we're going to want that, weld it to this section, and we can put it all together, tighten it up, tack these in so it's perfectly in line with that beam, and then we won't have any dramas. Two sections of box section just like that. We need a marker. Man, So I wrapped it up after welding that yesterday. That was, I really need them stub axles to cool down before you keep chucking the bearings back on it. I was just really tight. It makes a big difference, just that bit of heat in that stub axle. Today will be day 3 on the bar build. Pretty keen to get this sort of, this is what we're going to pretty much go for with the latch. It's a bit of scrap. We'll cut into a bit better shape. Pretty much going to be the latching design. Safety pin there in case it does fail. I don't want that swinging open and hitting something or someone. That box in these sides. I really got to go down the wheel shop and get these. So I've got tyres there. Needed some new wheels. Get this spare mounted on the back. But for today, I reckon latch, box them sides in, and that might even take a full day. I reckon there's going to be a lot of mucking around in them sides, but we'll see. See how we go. Let's crack on into it. Now the keen-eyed viewers among you may have noticed we finished that off with the MIG. And that's because you just don't TIG gow, man. It just spits and carries on. You might have seen the old spit over there. Just don't deal with that. So we did finish it off with the MIG welder. Everything's on there now. Little white wheel would go astray. Latch works okay. Does have a little bit of carrying on like this. Hence why we got the pin. These will be spaced outwards like this anyway, guys. You've probably seen me mucking around with these. This is just chopping board. I just wanted some hard plastic to sit underneath areas like this. You see it's really tight. We did actually use it as a spacer. So I'll put a chamfer on this edge and that'll go in there and we'll hold it down with some countersunk bolts. Those bolts are spares out of my boy's playground because that's what I got lying around. They're pretty big, nice sort of size head on it. That will hold that in place hopefully quite well. I don't have anything big enough. I don't have a countersink bit big enough. That's a pretty big countersink. What I do have is a 45-degree router bit. I think will be perfect for getting that. So we might put the router bit in the pedestal drill and drill it out with the router bit. So we'll have to make 2 of these guys. One will probably sit here, one will sit about here. We'll see, that one's a bit different. And also a little bit more than one. So I don't know what we're going to do there. We might have to space out with some sheet metal or something as well. So be some at the back here and some underneath here. And they'll pretty much be so it holds it all a bit tighter. Pretty much a sacrificial part. These probably will wear out over time, and it's a good thing that Kmart chopping boards are like $2. So that is the plan. Once they're on, I don't know if I already said, but I don't really want to buy tyres just yet. I've got some things going on, and might be a little bit of a wait for rims and for wheels. I've got tyres in there for wheels. So we've got to do the spare, the jerry cans. Yeah, we'll see. Box the sides in today. No, it will be unfortunate if the hatch doesn't miss that, because I didn't check that. Oh yeah! If it's up, it'll hit it. Check that sort of stuff, guys. Oof, that would have been a nightmare. Oh well. All good. We'll drill some holes in these. Cut 2 more up for the back. And you guys will see it. Now guys, in the final form of this, we will be chopping those threads off at the bottom. Probably going to give this bar a spray, chuck them in, cut them so they're flush, and then give the bottom a spray so it all looks nice and neat, tidy. We do have to do another piece of plastic along the back there. I've only got 3 countersunk bolts left, so I'm thinking maybe one in the center here. It's not too bad though. This one's real nice, barely hits it. I don't know if I said before, this is more for when these are fully loaded up, spare tyre, 2 jerrys or whatever you're going to have on this side. I just don't want the weight always on the axle. So particularly, this side's already, it's not perfect, right? So the weight will be shared between that and the stub axle. So over long trips, especially corrugations, anyone that's been up the Cape or out across the Plenty Highway or something like that, they know what I'm talking about. Those axles, I just can't see them not failing going through some abuse like that. So we're going to share the load of the weight that's on top of them. Pretty much it so far. Pull this out a little bit. That's probably about where that's going to sit. Somewhere where it's nice and straight. I was thinking about filling this section in with some metal, but I don't think it's any secret that this bar is getting pretty heavy already. I wouldn't have made it different, to be honest with you. Like, it's heavy. It's probably I reckon we're sitting at about 40 kilos, to be honest. Be interesting to weigh it. I might weigh it. But yeah, I wouldn't have made it any different. I do want this thing to last. Everyday driving, I'm not too sure. I might even pull the sides off and just have the stub axle sitting there. If we do lose like 50k to a tank of fuel, then definitely not going to leave them on there just week on, week out. But yeah, what else do I have to say, guys? Buddy, we'll go cracking on that back section. I think one big section in there probably won't be the end of the world. Even if we do secure it with 3 fasteners, I think that'll be alright. No biggie. What else to do that? We'll do that, and I guess we'll sheet these sides in after that. Hey guys, we're back at work. It's about as upsetting as I imagined it would be. Nah, it's not too bad. But we're getting a lot less time to do stuff like finish this bar. Last night I thought I'd quickly just zap on a couple of end caps on there. I didn't really film it, there's nothing too exciting there. Today we will, I'm hoping today, it'd be sick to get this little corner done. So I sort of wanted to sheet in at least this section, top and side. Not too sure what I'm going to do down here yet, so probably be good to make a decision. Because I'm going to have to tie the brush bar into this somehow. Got this steel plate right here. Pretty hefty, whatever that looks, you know, pretty thick sort of stuff. Could just smack him on there. Call it a day. Bit excessive maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll start the tube in there and have it kick out from in there, you know, like, I don't know, man. I sort of like the idea of welding straight on the back here, coming out. I think it's pretty cool. Sort of got to look good though, like it's got to sort of all flow and that. I think sheeting it in will look the best. So yeah, something to think about. I'll show you guys whatever we decide we'll do. I think what we got here is pretty much going to be it. So, yeah, I saw it wasn't a first go sort of thing, especially up the top there. It's a funny angle to sort of get. That'll be close enough to transfer onto some metal and weld on there. Probably will do just sheet metal up here, and I don't know if I'll do this whole panel, maybe that whole bottom panel out of something like 3mm, just with a gusset behind it, so when we do like a bloody, whatever it's called, a brush bath there, if that gets hit, this is not going to cave it in. So it's a hefty old bar, this one. Ah well. Yeah, what do you do? So I think we'll transfer that onto some steel, get it cut, and then weld it tonight, I guess. I don't have a whole lot of time left. Yeah, 5:30, so about an hour before people start cracking it over noise, so let's get that cut out. It's a bit later in the night now. I did have to duck out, do some stuff, come home, cook dinner, whatever, all the usual sort of wife stuff. I did get a little bit tacked on before I had to get out though. Just a little weld there to sort of see how I was going to dress up. It's a bit dark, but it's looking pretty good. I'll probably just tack that. What are we looking at? 8:30. Probably tack that. I don't know if I'll grind it all back. I did cut the other side as well, so I might even try and get that done, and then tomorrow when it's a little bit earlier, I can smack a grinder over it. Oh, actually not even tomorrow. Yeah, I can get a grind over it anyway at some point, and then give it a little bit of sand back, make it all look pretty. Did end up using the 3mm. Did use the sheet metal for the top. It looks pretty good. So I'll get that cracking. Probably won't film too much of it. I think the next thing that we're really going to film is chucking that spare tyre on. So cut to that. Hey guys, it has been a couple of weeks because I've had some stuff on and then I got real crook. Don't recommend doing that, that sucks. But where we left off, I'd actually go check, was we're about to smack this bloody tyre on. And this is what I got really roughly cut up, and I'm not digging it at all, to be honest, because I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need a gusset off there anyway to stop all that torsional movement and carry on. We do have a tyre just sitting right here conveniently with a little plate there, and I was going to use this big girl, cut it up a little bit, put on a bit of an angle, and use that as the gusset. But it's sort of sitting there looking at it, and I'm sort of digging that, to be honest. I don't know if we can get that out of shot enough. I reckon that's sick. We'll make the top a little bit nicer. It's like the right perfect height. We'll weld that in there. Spare tile still sit there. No additional gusset needed. You're not going to bend that bloody thing off the bottom. So what I'm thinking is that's the go. Quick little update while I had a spare moment. Probably do that at work tomorrow, because Cody needed his welder to fix a few of his own stuff up, and I don't really want to TIG gow. I don't have a MIG yet, so might rip into that at work. It's not much to it, and when I get home might TIG the bottom on when we sort of got a better idea of how it's going to sit. But thinking that is the bloody go. Bam! It's just tacked there. Just checking stuff. I don't want to fully weld it, and I'm glad I didn't, because I wanted that tyre on that a little bit of an angle. I was sort of thinking that angle, but that's pretty extreme. So sort of went just a small angle. I don't know what angle it is. Let's cut the bloody thing. I don't know. Just got it tacked there. Not too bad at the moment. I just wanted to check. Now keep in mind, the bearing isn't greased. Once we grease it, those roller bearings won't have so much slop, hopefully. And it's not really reefed tight, so it does drop a little bit. Hopefully not too bad once we finish it. This was what was really important. Getting it all the way open well, it's going to stay there. And just seeing if it hit the car. So like that's 90, or one, like, you know, that's 180. And it misses the car by whatever, I don't know, 50 mil. That is why I was sort of trying to push it more towards the centre of the car, because when it does swing around, we'll have, or if it come too far out, it'll bloody hit the car. So that is that at the moment. I don't think that's looking too bad, to be honest. We'll have to add a brake light somewhere. I've got some brake lights for the swingways, but I think we need a top mount brake light for legalities. And I wouldn't mind adding we'll add a little box section in here, so we can have an extra sort of platform, maybe a bit of a higher platform to cook on. Since my boy will be running around and carrying on, he always likes to put his hands in hot stuff, so we can have like the cooker up at about waist height. That would be sick. Some lights and whatever. Only thing, because I did push that out so far, I'll swing it back around. Oof. Oof. Might have to close her up. Because I did angle that out, we'd probably take 50 mil out of the centre there. Bring that spare back towards the car. I didn't film tacking or welding that together. If you guys have watched a few videos, you would have seen a bit of welding going on anyway. But we got it on there. Hopefully, we got it on there. Hopefully to never come off again. If that comes off, that is unplanned. We're in trouble. That should be fine. I've got a little cutout up top there that we were talking about before. She's level with this, level the bottom bar, tacked her on. That'll be like a bench, like we were saying. We're going to slide the bench in there and have a little cooking area up out of the way. Weld that on there. I went down to Bunnings, got some M12. I got M12 1.25 nuts lying around, and they didn't have that size bolt. Like I want to use wheel nuts, obviously, and they just had the coarse threads, the sort of UNC, whatever size most of those high tensile bolts are. So we'll have to go down to an actual bolt shop. No big deals, just delays, you know. Product of the passenger side now. Not too shabby. I think it's not too bad for depth. Sort of sitting on there good. You see the brake light, even though you know, whatever laws, you know, we need to do better than that, but at least you can see that brake light from the side. From this side, we're not going to have room to do two Jerrys side by side. It'll be about out here, and I really just don't want it out that far. So I'm thinking just still have the light visible latch accessible easy enough, we'll have the jerry there. Just run down to Bunnings quickly and got this bloody jerry can holder. Simple as that. We're just going to weld it on there, gussets where the magnets are holding it on, and done. Like, let's not overcomplicate things. Got to slow the old brain down sometimes. So let's rip into putting that on there. We'll have to add some lights, a little bit of strip metal on the back there to hold that number plate, and that's it. Rear bar will be, oh, why the lights up, but rear bar will pretty much be done. So let's rip into that. Now we always just tack it up first, guys, saves a bit of effort later if it isn't exactly what we want. And in this case, it is one of those times I would like it to go back a little bit, so we will just put a little bit of pressure on that when we tack these gussets into place. It's not going to be too big of a deal, not worth checking again, but we'll just we'll pay attention to push that back a little bit, get a bit of a gap in there, and we'll weld her up fully. So that's looking pretty good for the amount of, you know, $50, guys. It's hard to go past a pre-made sort of unit. Like, pretty much exactly what we want though. Access to the handle, easy. Tail light visible from this side, not too bad. Yeah, just push it back a smidge and we will be rocking on. So let's get that welded up. So the camera died on me before, didn't miss a whole lot, got that welded up, got a little plate made for the number plate. Number plate will just sit here, number plate light, reverse light and brake light. I don't reckon that's looking too bad. I don't know about you guys, but I reckon it's looking pretty okay. It'll look a lot better color coded. Just got to fix up these extra lights we're adding because of the poor visibility of the other lights I've created by putting stuff in the way. And I was pulling them apart. I don't know if I've shown you yet. We're just using these LED autolamps.com is where I got them. I think they were 150 bucks. There's some pretty expensive ones on there, depends what you want, but we'll see how they go, should be alright. I was having a look at them, and they come apart. How good is that? I was dreading mounting these, but that's going to be sweet. Just going to drill 2 holes. They come with a template on the back, like this one's still got it taped on there. You drill those 2 holes out, big one in the middle, and just bolt it on there. That's going to be excellent. Here we are, after dinner. I had salmon, so if anyone was wondering, no one actually cares, but had salmon. First time, it's pretty good. Got both templates in place on the back of the Jeep now. We're going to drill them, and I don't know what else to tell you. Let's get into it. That is pretty much how it is gonna sit for now at least, guys. I need to paint it before I continue the way the swing away is. Just the way everything is, I need to paint it before I wire it up. So we are going to be waiting for that. So I'll just get cracking on this lift kit, I guess. That'll be a different episode. Not too sure I'm going to structure this. I guess I'll probably, through some video editing, this will probably just continue. And next we'll be painting it, next shot. But hopefully the Jeep will be higher in the next shot. So with any luck, we'll get cracking on this lift kit. And by the time we do full circle, we'll be back on the rear bar doing the finishing touches. A little bit of wiring. I didn't go into the wiring. I did wire the passenger side up. I've done a bit of wiring on the channel already. Don't want to bore you guys too much. It's exactly the same way as I did last time. Open barrel crimps. That's what I like to do with pretty much everything. The whole engine loom and the ute got open barrel crimped. It is just the go. Alright. So yeah, I guess we'll cut to the next shot where everything's probably looking exactly like this, but the Jeep will probably be a little bit higher. Okay. Alrighty guys, just like that, we are a little bit higher on the Jeep and we're still going on this rear bar. So I think it's pretty much where we left off. I haven't looked at the tape or anything. I've just got the left side, the right side, lights are in, that one's a little bit crooked, got to fix that. Got to finish putting our reverse and brake lights in here. Just got the pantry sitting in here for a little bit of motivation to try to psych myself up to finish it, because once it's in there it looks great rather than having that hole there. So you got a little bit of paint sort of testing. It said it was textured. It's not really that textured. I was hoping for a little more than that, but it'll keep us out of trouble. But I think there'll be a little bit of less talking and just more filming tonight, try and crack out some stuff and get as much done as we can before we have to go to sleep and do it all again tomorrow. Well, it's been a while. I had to go back through the clips to even see what I last left you guys with. And you know, it's hard on these videos where it's just the next frame, but man, it's probably been 6 weeks, I reckon. Just between, man, I've had a few things on, alright. But this is where we're at. So bar is painted now. Obviously you can see the spare wheels on. We've got that jerry can holder chilling. My number plate's a secret. So that's why you guys can't know it. Secret numbers. Anyway, I did have a few little qualms. My spare tyre moved a little bit too much for what I was wanting. So I did just add these massive, not massive, but it was left over 100 by 100, 5mm. So I've welded the angle on the back of this. As you know, you can sort of see, I just had some holes cut out in it to try and let some water and mud or whatever that gets in there out of there. Just to try and stop that flex. There's just a little bit too much movement in the actual angle, which I was pretty surprised about. It's 8mm angle, you know. On this side you can see our water can. This will be wired up to a brake light, and well, I thought that was going to be wired up to a reverse light, but turns out, because I'm just wiring all these tail lights off of the trailer plug, I don't plan on towing with this thing, to be honest, so just going to use a trailer plug now with a Deutsch connector on it, and the reverse is not one of the options on our plug. I don't think I'm going to add it. All the patrols use reverse lights on the car, but every other light on the back, so we'll just run it the same. Our watering can does have a tap piece on there, which I probably will end up using. Obviously here you can see our just a P-clip with our conduit with a grommet to hold it inside, you know, try and seal it up somewhat. So obviously we've got our lift on as well, looking pretty flash. And yeah guys, that's about it. Oh, sorry. Yeah guys, that's about it for now. Wrap this rear bar up. We'll just probably wire that light up. So we got one light for the number plate. That'll just be getting wired to the tail lights, obviously, so it all comes on together. I've already tested the brakes and everything. Like I've said previously, I wasn't going to show you guys the whole wiring. It is pretty dull. Today's Saturday, and we're leaving for a month trip Monday. So pretty standard cram sesh. I was really hoping to get the pantry finished before we leave. So if we go to rear bar and pantry, I think we'll have a good time. So let's rip in and not waste too much time jabbering. You got a hammer? Yeah. Hey.
What's that?
Hey! The light, brake lights, perfect. Light, brake light, unreal. So that's that checked off the list. Now I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure in Queensland, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you can't have your bottom lights and your brake lights. So like, I can't have all the lights on, if that makes sense. Who knows? Well, it doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, so I gotta undo. I'm probably just gonna pull the bulbs out, to be honest, because I want my reverse light still to work. I'm probably just gonna pull the bulbs out, the standard tail lights. I think that'll be the easiest way to get around it. It's a silly law, if it's a law, pretty sure, because all the patrols and that, I'm pretty sure they don't even have, they got like blanks in there, you know? So we'll pull them out, so we're just running the rear bar lights, and as well as that, probably have to drill a little hole here and just tuck that in, because it just catches that door on the way up. So we'll also do that. Now guys, it pretty much wraps up our rear bar episode. Thanks for tuning in for that. I do apologise that we sort of skipped a few parts towards the end there. Just always, as always, we're short on SD card time. I do have to try to publish some videos and get them out because bloody hell they've been on that SD card for a while. As you can see, those indicators are flashing a bit quick. Not something I thought of when I pulled the bulbs out, but won't really make a difference. I don't think I'm going to change it anyway. So yeah, thanks guys for another beautiful chopped up video. And I hope you've got something from it, some ideas maybe, learn from my mistakes. And I'll see you buddy. I don't know what we're going to do next. I'll see you soon though. Here we are, after dinner. I had salmon, so if anyone was wondering. Here we are, after dinner. I had salmon. Had salmon. Had salmon. Had salmon.